Catherine Ray, and I'm currently working on what I hope will be my debut fantasy novel going by TCW Book 1. And today we are going to be doing something a little different. So if you're new here, I just finished editing and rewriting draft 2 of book 1 of this project, like 2 weeks ago, I think. And I've taken a little break from writing, put it aside, just kind of read a bunch, played some Stardew Valley, cleaned, did some yoga. I'm feeling good. What I'm wanting to do today is to start on plotting for book 2, which I'm so excited about. I was gonna wait until next weekend to do this, but essentially we're going on vacation mid-September, and I don't want to be in the middle of this, but I also don't want to wait to start this until after we get back. So my plan right now is to take this weekend, do some brainstorming, plotting, putting together the Spotify playlist, the Pinterest board, just kind of like really dreaming big with it. I already know a lot of things that I want to happen in book 2, obviously from writing book 1 and from this having been one project initially and then me splitting it into 2. So I'm wanting to do 3 things before we go to the beach. I want to first brainstorm, kind of do some plotting, outlining. Not outlining, we're just brainstorming today. We're just doing the fun bits today. I will be working on this kind of through the week. We're sitting down to do a big chunk of it today. We have the vibes all set, we have the coffee brewed. But then next weekend is when I will really start doing the outlining. So I will, get out, save the cat. I will kind of make sure that we're hitting the beats that I want. I have this list of scenes and I'm hoping to grow the ideas for scenes today so that next weekend I can really have what I need spread out, and I can almost more see it as organizing that rather than just having to come up with a bunch of stuff. I hope that makes sense. And then the weekend after that, so in 2 weeks, is when I am going to be attempting to fast draft book 2 and just kind of get everything out of my head. Do a very short, I'm hoping for like a 30K draft in 3 days. We're gonna see if that is possible. I've never done that before, but I don't want to get ahead of myself and start talking about the fast drafting process, because I will be doing a separate video on that, and I don't want this one to be too long. So we're just gonna kind of cozy up on the couch today, and I'm gonna be on Pinterest. I don't even know how much I'm gonna be actively talking to you. We're gonna put some Sleep Token on the TV, and I'm gonna put my glasses back on so I can see. And we may do some reading, we may play some games here and there. We're just gonna kind of chill together today, I guess. And I will give you some updates on where we're at with the outlining process. But just kind of wanted to document this and have it to look back on too, because this is literally day 1 of me working on this book. And I think this is kind of the first one that I'm gonna have on video, which is very fun. I'll have it documented for posterity. So anyway, let's get started. very up close and personal on the couch. I am about to start going through, I've compiled all of my little scribbles and notes that I've been making for book 2 since I wrote book 1 and in the meantime, and I'm going to go through, because I've already started writing on it, I'm going to go through and read them, highlight, maybe try to make some sort of a timeline. And this is the project notebook. I could have just used the rest of the notebook I used for book 1, but there's no fun in that. So yeah, I'm gonna get cozy on the couch and read through my notes. So this is me officially starting book 2. I'm very excited. Didn't go the way I wanted it to, as you can probably tell from my voice. I did get sick. So Labor Day weekend, I had slotted out on the calendar to start outlining and getting everything like prepped for my fast draft weekend, which is this upcoming weekend. And I got sick. My husband got sick last week, and then about, I would say, Thursday or Friday is when it like really hit me. I thought I might be getting it on Wednesday, and then Friday hit and I was like, oh, I'm sick. And then Saturday and Sunday and Monday we're all just on the couch, horizontal, drinking tea. Like, we had a nice little cozy weekend. At least we got to spend a lot of time together, but not very productive, unfortunately. So it is Tuesday, September 2nd. We're back in office now. So I just wanted to let you know what I did do this weekend, what I have to do this upcoming week, and then I am prepping to fast draft for this upcoming weekend. So what I got done this past week. So thankfully I actually did jump the gun and I started working on my outlining brainstorm document a bit more on Thursday. Just kind of going over, I printed out my all the notes and things that I had been compiling since I worked on the first book and since I finished it, just putting everything together, kind of making it into a timeline, putting all the bits and scenes in order, going through the Save the Cat beat sheet and making a plot, a structured plot. And I did that in Excel. Actually, I like doing it in Excel so I can kind of almost like check it off. So I have the beat sheet, and then next I'm going to go through and actually divide it down into a scene list. And then from there, I should be able to get kind of like a rough idea of what this initial, at least first draft will be, word count wise, sorry. And then next I'll be able to, you know, once I have the draft will obviously expand between draft 1 and 2. Not obviously, I guess some people overwrite on their first drafts. I'm an underwriter on my first draft. And I am hoping to fast draft this coming weekend. So I worked on that. I worked a little bit more on the Pinterest board for some inspiration and brainstorming a few things. There's still one plot point that I'm a lot fuzzy on, and that may be something that I have to kind of like write to that point to figure out. I have I have ideas for it. So I'll at least have something to choose from when I get there. I've started my Milanote board. This has been super helpful. This is the first time that I'm working from the ground up on a novel using Milanote. Not entirely. I do also like having Scrivener for a lot of my longer documents and whatnot, but for some of the shorter, more visual things like character arcs, I pasted my little, photos of each character, and I have where they start out at the beginning of this book and where I want them to end up by the end. So that has been super helpful. I put that in there. I have my mood board on here. I'm gonna have my chapter breakdown and to-do lists. I have a link to my Pinterest board, and a little summary out here as well. And I'll also have links to the outline on here as well. So I'm gonna work on dividing the beat sheet into a scene list. I think that'll also help me to brainstorm a little bit of what's missing as well, and get a better idea of how long this rough draft can be. And then this coming weekend is when I am going to fast draft this book. I am going to be loosely going off of A.K. Mulford's plan. I'm gonna link her channel in my description. Basically, she has ADHD and posted a video on, she's a traditional and indie author, which I think is really cool in and of itself. So she posted a video on how she fast drafts her novels, the first draft, and she does this because with ADHD, you have the ability often to hyper focus, but often not do the traditional a little bit every day because our attention and excitement can really wane with doing that, and fade even if it's a passion project of ours. We gotta keep it new, gotta keep it interesting. She fast drafts her first draft in like 3 days and has a 30K in 3-day challenge. I don't think I'll be able to do that my first time. I kind of want to be realistic with my first time attempting something like this. So I'm going to be aiming for about 20 to 25K in 3 days. And unfortunately, one of those days does have to be a work day. So it is going to be, I'm going to have some grace with myself. I really just want to get a good head start on this novel and get kind of a rough draft that I can go back to the first book and edit. There are lots of things that I do want to change about the first book now that I have gotten into outlining the second book, and things that I want to make more cohesive throughout the story. This weekend I had a little bit of regret on giving my beta readers this version of the draft and not waiting until I could go through and do another edit of it. But it really did work out timeline wise because I'm switching focus to work on book 2 right now, which gives them time to read that, and I'm not losing any time because by the time I go back to start editing book 1, I've asked that they have at least some feedback back to me, so I can dig into that. So it worked out time wise. I do just wish I had been able to deliver a bit of a cleaner draft, but I gave disclaimers. I gave a little paper with all my questions and the disclaimer of this is basically a rough draft. Anyway, I need the feedback. I need to know what they're thinking, and I also kind of need the encouragement right now, just truthfully. So I'm excited to hear what they say. I've gotten a couple of pieces of feedback so far, and it has been positive, mostly. If there were any, hey, did you know you did this? It was stuff I knew I had left in there. So that's good, at least, that there haven't been a ton of new things yet, but I don't have a lot of the feedback so far, so fingers crossed. Anyway, I'm going to be working on the character arcs, doing a bit more outlining, kind of tightening the theme and some of those summary documents, and then I am going to be making that scene by scene list. I'm actually going to go ahead and go over some of the things that I want to do for my fast draft weekend that I'm doing to prep for it. Just because I think that I didn't get much footage for this video. So here's my little September, it's probably gonna be backwards, but this is my little bullet journal that I work on. So I made a little list of the things that I plan to do to prep for my fast draft weekend. So the first thing that we're gonna do is have the outline printed and ready, as in complete as much as I can, and that is almost done. We've got most of it. I need to do the scene by scene because that's what I mean by the outline is kind of more of a checklist for myself. Pinterest board and the playlist need to be a little bit more rounded out, which I have worked on, and I'm gonna have them pulled up as I write. Accountability. I have told my husband that I will be attempting this, that I will be texting people and turning off my phone so that I can really focus on writing. I will be deleting some of my social media and using the Bean app, the one that Hank Green made. It's super cute and it's great timing for me. I'm going to be waking up a little bit earlier than I would normally on a Saturday and Sunday in order to get as much in as I possibly can. So I think what I'm going to be doing, honestly, what is probably the most realistic for me, which is, again, this is very much a stretch, but instead of 3 10K days like AK Mulford does, I'm probably going to do 2 10K days and have like a 20K rough draft at the end of it. That would be great. That would be super helpful. It would give me something to pick back up when I come back from editing book 1. So that I think is going to be the goal, because I'm not going to be able to do that during the work day. Work is a little bit crazy right now. I'm not going to be writing chronologically, and it is okay if I place brackets and placeholders for names and things like that. I will be drinking a lot of coffee. I also got these little caffeine gummies. I can't do energy drinks at all anymore. They're just not kind to me. So I am going to try those. They're supposed to be like a natural, gentle, I don't know. We'll see if that's just marketing, but I'm going to try those. I'm going to be very intentional about scheduling movement breaks. I want to be sure that I'm getting up, walking around, stretching. I find that really helps to clear my mind. And also, like, if you're hunched over a laptop all day, it's not good for your body. You need to get up and move. And if your body is out of sorts, your mind's going to be out of sorts. So I want to be very intentional about that. I'm going to be so honest. I was going to have this big prize at the end that I get for attempting this, and I kind of went ahead and got the prize, which is very counterintuitive, but it was on sale this past weekend, and it's something I've wanted for a year now. But it is going to help me write this book. It's a big reading chair that I'm going to put in my library. And it actually gets delivered today. So I will be camped out there. You will definitely see me writing in that chair. That will definitely be a separate video. Do you want to do kind of a post-it note visual tracker? That has been something that I've done the past few novels that I've written that has really helped me. I'm a very visual person. So writing out each scene on like one of those mini post-its and putting them on the wall, and then being able to peel them up and see how much I have left to do. I am going to use the dictation feature. I don't like to use it a lot, but at the end of the day, if I'm trying to get the word count in, and you know, I'm very aware this is going to be an extremely rough draft, I'm gonna use that a little bit just to help hit that word count and get my thoughts down about each scene. I'm gonna keep snacks and drinks on hand. I'm gonna set the vibe, make it super cute and cozy. The big reading chair is gonna help with that. We'll have a little candle, a little hot drink. We're gonna need a lot of hot drinks right now anyway. And then the last thing is I will be using For the Words. If you don't know what For the Words is, cannot recommend it enough. For the Words, it's the number 4 and then the words.com. It is kind of like a gamified word sprint website. That's a terrible way to explain it. Basically, you go on there, you make a little character, and you have to go on quests, and to complete or defeat each monster, you have to write a certain amount of words in a certain amount of time. And how big or difficult the monster is how many words and like the amount of time, maybe a less amount of time than the others. Like it gets more and more competitive, but I'm so competitive and I find that it really, really helps. It keeps me on track. There's a little graph on there that shows if you take a break in typing, like you have to keep up a consistent typing pace. And it just really helps me to stay focused, to stay on it, and to just focus on getting words out and not focus on the quality. And that is what I need for the first draft. It is gonna be a very, very rough draft, but I'm already planning on rewriting the first draft for the second book, like the same way that I did the first book. That's what we're doing now. I don't wanna waste as much time as I did with this past one. And a lot of the reason that the first book took as long as it did is because I got married. I went on a honeymoon. We bought a house. We had to do renovations to the house. And then it was the holiday time. So like, I try to have some grace with myself, but it is kind of a little disappointing in my mind that it took 2.5 years to get 2 drafts of the first book. This is not my first rodeo. I do think it's the most structured and well done book that I've ever written, but it took a long time. So we're not messing around with the second book. I also already know the world. I know the characters. I know the story. So we're on a much better foot beginning this drafting. The brain fog is so real. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go drink some coffee and work on my character arcs, and I will see you when I am done outlining, and we'll catch up before we end the vlog and get ready for our fast draft weekend. Hi, hello. I'm just popping in to end the video and say I did finish my like compilation of all my scenes and little tidbits of information into an outline document. Divided it all into the different beats from Save the Cat, and the document is now about 5,000 words, so I feel like I have enough to go off of for my big writing weekend. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.